What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So in this video, this is kind of, I guess, breaking news, kind of. I don't know how many people have actually talked about this yet, but today already, earlier, a few hours ago, we had a group of Arab nations representatives at the UN do a press conference announcing that they have put forth a resolution to the Security Council, basically asking for consequences for the actions that Israel has taken on the Palestinian people and in the Middle East abroad. Uh, so it is very, very. I think this press conference was a really good press conference. It's the Arab nations coming together in unity, basically saying there's no more waiting here. We're not waiting anymore. We urge you to do something. Okay, consequences need to be made. There's enough talk. We need action. So we're going to watch this parts of it, not the thing in its entirety. I'm going to anyway, I'll get to that in a second. Okay, we're going to go through this. So thank you very much for joining me. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you'd like to check out more from the channel, please do so. Consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all the good stuff to get more videos in front of more people. If you want to check out other channels of mine, you have JM Drummer there, Play, Puzzling. If you like what you see there, consider subscribing and sharing and all that good stuff over there as well. It's free for you, helps out the channels tremendously, okay? That would be amazing. If you want to go further, there's Patreon there, okay? $2 a month, you support any of the channels that you like to help grow those channels, help grow Patreon, help grow JMD Nation, and contribute to that growth how you would like to help keep all of this going. That would be amazing, okay? And also, new, I have merch. All right. So go to pinkinnovations.com/collection/JMD merch and check it out. All right. I have something for every channel over there. I mean, right now I'm even wearing puzzling shirt. Okay. I have one on here. Because I just got through doing a new video for the puzzling channel over there, starting up a new puzzle. Go check that out if you like. So yeah, go there, check out the merch. If you see something you like, then you go ahead and get it, okay? And if you want to get a discount, then Patreon, okay? If you're a member of Patreon, you get a discount on the merch, all right? But even if you don't want to do the merch or say, or anything in the collection, if you have some kind of custom work that you would like to get done, custom T-shirt, hat, cups, vinyls, or whatever for your car, or for whatever the case, go to pinkinnovations.com. Okay, this is my girlfriend's website, her business. This is what she does. I want to support her as well, help me support her. So if you need to, if you need any kind of custom work, and you know, then go check it out. All right, and again, while you're there though, check out the merch. You might like it. You might like it. That's all I'm saying. All right. So, all right, let's get on over here to the, one more thing. If you're returning, you're freaking amazing. Hi, you thought I was going to forget. You're freaking amazing. Welcome back. Keep coming back because you're what makes JMD Nation. Okay. So let's get over here. Again, this is as you see here, a whole panel of representatives here of Arab nations abroad. We have the representative for Palestine at the UN. He's going to start. That's who we're going to mainly listen to. This guy here speaks after him. I'm not really going to worry worry about listening to what he says, because he basically is just reaffirming what the Palestinian representative was saying. This lady over here also speaks for a little bit, again, just sort of reiterating and expanding a little bit on what he was saying, but he says everything, like summarizes everything well enough that I feel that that's enough to get the point of what this is about. And then at the very end, they have a few questions from the media that he himself addresses. So yeah, he's a representative of the Palestinian Palestine in the UN. This guy's representing what he speaks on, or along with all of these, they're representing the Arab nations and the OIC organization, which, if you don't know, is basically a collection here of nations, Muslim nations, or nations that have Muslim representation or whatever, Islamic representation, and it's a large list. Okay, so all these people are all being represented here, along with those that also some major nations like China, Russia, and a few others that also signed on to this resolution that they have submitted to the Security Council, urging for actions to actually be taken. So let's get started here and take a listen.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being with us, the media. So always good to see your faces. And we are very grateful that you responded quickly to the call of all of us, the Arab group, the OIC, and other friends, and of course the state of Palestine, for this press conference. Of course, the reason why we are calling for this conference, because the situation is extremely deteriorating in the occupied Palestinian territory and extremely dangerous, whether in the occupied West Bank, East Jerusalem, or the Gaza Strip, or in the whole general region. And because of that, we felt that we cannot continue waiting as it relates to the question of Palestine until things to be sorted out in the region. The war in the Gulf region, and also what's happening in Lebanon and the aggression against them. If we keep waiting, then this extreme Israeli government will sneak in under the smoke of the war and try, to make decisive changes in the occupied Palestinian territory through annexation, destructions of the hope of the two-state solution, and making the miserable situation in the Gaza Strip to even more miserable situation. So that's why we sent a letter at the beginning of the week, and one of my colleagues, if you haven't seen.
I'm sorry, I sent a letter, not a resolution. I apologize on that. I had that bit wrong. That is, which is a significant thing. They sent a letter urging this Security Council to take action.
The letter, we will be more than happy to give it to you,
and to basically uphold resolutions that they have already signed on to that would help to address what they are trying to address here.
In which we listed the violations and the danger, the dangerous situation in the West Bank, starting from the great possibility of the implementation of E1 plan. That plan is extremely dangerous in a sense that it wants to connect through more settlements building and expanding settlements, connecting East Jerusalem with E1 settlements, and connecting with the Khan al-Ahmar, and through the Jordan Valley, reaching the Jordan River, meaning dividing the north and the south of the West Bank. And if you also think of Gaza, they occupying 53% of the land, expanded to 60% of the land, and Netanyahu is also saying we want to expand to 70% of the land.
Which, we just covered in a previous video the other day, that and even the 70% that was brought up in response to crowds stating 100%, where Netanyahu was like, hold up, we got to go one at a time, okay, but we'll get there, all right. First, we're at 60. We're going to go to 70, all right? And then we'll go from there. So the intention is even past 70. This is something we've always known. We've always known. And what he's also addressing here is the E1, which is the expansion that they have plans, expansion in the West Bank and dividing the West Bank and further annexation, further acceptance of land grabs by illegal settlers and everything. It is. This is what Israel is doing, and it's what he's talking about under the smoke of all the war that's going on. What they're trying to continuously do in Lebanon, like eyes in other areas, they are doing these sneak attacks and plans and grabs in the Palestinian areas, in the West Bank and in the Gaza, that is kind of going under the radar, that people aren't paying attention to. And they're bringing it back to the forefront. Like, look, we know this war is going on. We know we got all this stuff going on, in the entire region. But let's not forget and just pay attention to what Israel is doing behind the scenes in the area, to what they're doing to the Palestinian people. And that's that this can't be accepted. This cannot be accepted, and something needs to be done. Okay.
So occupying 70%, dividing north and south of the West Bank, then in essence, Smotrich, Netanyahu, and Ben Gvir, who are saying we are going to destroy the two-state solution, are taking practical step in this connection. You add to it the terrorism of the settlers, the invoking of the land registration to open it for Jews in the occupied Palestinian territory, which is illegal, and also the release of the listing of Israel and with the specific documentation as it relates to sexual violence against Palestinian prisoners, including girls and women. And, everybody is saying we have the evidence regarding to that, but Netanyahu wants to shield those who are committing these crimes and attacking the Secretary General, and we salute him for the listing, attacking, the civil society organization, the international organization, all those who have the evidence. Instead of taking those who commit these crimes to court, he is shielding and protecting them. I'm just giving you some of the elements that are in the letter that we sent to the Security Council. We are grateful to Libya.
And he's right. Netanyahu and the Israeli government is doing everything they can to shield all of those consequences, all of those things that are happening. The genocide behind the walls that we've already talked about and reported in another video. It is absolutely despicable that at this point, all these types of things are coming out, being reported on, and nothing is being done about it. It has literally become practically legal in Israel for security personnel in these concentration camps, basically in these prisons, to do whatever they want to these prisoners. Okay, rape, beat, sexual violence in all kinds of disgusting ways. And we talked about that. You can go back to that video and check that out. And again, nothing's being done about it. It's like we're just saying, okay, yeah, I guess we can just let them do that. Most moral democracy in the whole entire Middle East. Spare me.
In Somalia, the Arab representative in the Security Council, when we asked them that the Security Council cannot remain silent, it should act. And as we are meeting in front of you, they are having informal consultation in the content of our letter and other documents, the UN documents and other agencies' documents about all these crimes. We are saying that these crimes should be stopped. These illegal policies and practices should be, condemned, and Israel should be held accountable, and those who committed the crimes of sexual violence should face justice, and it should not be tolerated. We want the Security Council as the main organ of the UN in charge of the maintenance of international peace and security to act, to shoulder its responsibility, to stop these crimes, and I hope those who are meeting inside to act on the basis of many things, including international law, including the plan, the 20-point plan of President Trump, and Security Council Resolution 2803 that says, among other things, no to annexation, no to occupation, no to the continuation of the situation. You cannot just say that, and Israel is not listening to anyone without consequences. We want consequences, and we want the Security Council to act.
Exactly. Because that's what's happening. You have this resolution that pretty much the 2803 that pretty much came around, if I'm not mistaken, around the time that the Board of Peace was, put together by Trump, with him as the head, and that whole scam bullshit board to try to, quote unquote, bring peace to Gaza and the Middle East and abroad, and further future needs by such a board. And this resolution came out, again, it was presented by the United States as, to state and say, we can't have annexation, we can't have occupation, we need to be removed, eventually working towards moving to this and figuring out the two-state solution or something like that. And you've had Israel just completely ignore it, as they do everything. They completely ignore, do whatever the hell they want, and talk openly about plans of completely ignoring and going against what everybody else thinks the plan is, openly and brazenly talking about it and celebrating their expansion plans. And yet, nothing's done. Nothing's ever done.
We are grateful for almost every member of the Security Council that endorsed our request through, the Arab representative. It is so unique that 5 members of the European countries endorsed the call, along with China and Russia and everybody else. This is a unique moment, and this is also a sign that on our issue, still the Security Council is united and they want action. We are grateful to them. I'm grateful, to my colleagues and brothers, Brother Abdullah, who is the chair of the Arab group for this month. We had a meeting yesterday. They endorsed this call. They called for this press conference, and they authorized my brother Abdullah to give a statement on behalf of the other, Abdulaziz Al-Wasil, to give a statement on behalf of the Arab group, which he will. And also we had consultation with the chairman of the OIC group, Ambassador Ahmad, and his deputy will be here to deliver a statement on behalf of the OIC. And you see that there is a massive support for Palestine in spite of everything. The war in the Gulf cannot continue to steal away the attention of the international community for justice for the Palestinian people, and we cannot remain silent. We have to do our duty here at the UN. We are ambassadors at the UN. It is our job to work with the Security Council, the General Assembly, the Secretary General, that Palestine cannot continue to wait on the margin. Justice has to prevail. This illegal occupation has to end, and freedom and independence of the state of Palestine should take place as quickly as possible.
Exactly. This is quite frankly a huge I think, a huge opportunity here is bringing a public notice, because you have this, even with this Gulf War, with the Trump had to he was trying to push along with this, so close to a deal, trying to pressure and push that in addition to this deal with Iran, we should, all the Arab nations should come together with the Abraham Accords, and everybody, be all copacetic, and hey, we can even bring in Iran on this, and everybody be all good and have good relations with Israel because Israel's so amazing, and it will help everybody out. And I talked about that and said that shit ain't happening. The Arab nations are fed up. They're tired, and they see what Israel has done. They're not going to go into a deal with Israel after seeing what they've done. There's a more likely that they will actually go into an agreement with Iran at this point, which China is actually trying to orchestrate at this point, to try to bring all the Arab nations together in coalition and in unity, which, certainly makes more sense than the Abraham Accords. And we talked about that there was a more likelihood that the Arab nations would actually join together with Iran instead of with Israel. Because Israel is, again, constantly celebrating and talking about their plans of expansionism, of annexation, and taking from every fucking one around them. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody's going to go into a deal with that. The amount of backlash that these, even to the degree that some of them have previously stated that they would consider it. It was all around the fact that, we would consider this if Israel would finally back out in the occupations, in the annexations, in all of this, these military actions that they have been doing to the Palestinian people, to Gaza, to the West Bank, and even in Lebanon. If they were to end and pull back, then we could actually see trying to go into an agreement. But that is what's ultimately prevented the Abraham Accords already, is because Israel's not willing to do so. Because they quite literally want to obliterate. They want to remove the Palestinian people from the earth. They want to genocide them, ethnic cleansing. That has been their plan all along. They claim that it's the opposite. But that is so far from the truth. Same thing they tried to say about Iran. They want to, try to act like Iran wants to eliminate Israel and remove them, and it's the exact opposite. In their rhetoric, all they state is obliterate Iran. They want to turn Iran into a parking lot like they have tried to do with Gaza, and are at this point actually being pretty successful at doing, because nobody is stopping them. And pretty much everybody on the Security Council is on the same page at trying to pull back Israel, except for the U.S. Because we have webbed and entangled ourselves with Israel so much, and we are using them as a way of implementing our own control in the Middle East, that we protect them. We protect them in all the chaos and craziness that they do. And it quite literally is going to have to be on the United States to finally find a moral stance here, finally actually maybe try to have some peace and tell Israel to fucking stop. Not going to do this anymore. United States, get a backbone. Stop worrying about pissing off Netanyahu or pissing off Smotrich or pissing off Ben Gvir or anybody else that is, has all these Zionist, genocidal, homicidal, murderous hatred and imperial expansion plans and projects and ideology. Tell them to all fuck off. You're not doing this anymore. Because you're causing all the problems. But the United States is not going to do that until they feel enough pressure to do so. Whether it's by pressure from all the other nations or pressure from within. And while there's growing pressure and growing sentiment and growing favor to the Palestinian cause globally, massive, the United States people internally are starting to actually wake up to what the rest of the world has been seeing for decades now. We're getting past the fog and smoke of the U.S. media and the protection of Israel that it has put on us. And we're actually starting to see. I mean, we've watched a genocide in fucking full-ass 4K for 3 years now. It's kind of hard to look and see what's happening and go, and we're doing what with Israel? We're sending what to Israel? We're funding them with what and how much? We're vetoing and keeping them from the consequences. Why? Yeah, this is putting it out there in a very bold way, I think. Now, again, what will come of it? I don't know, but there needs to be continued pressure. That's the only thing that would eventually break through the wall that we have put up when it comes to Israel. It's continued pressure, external and internal, to where the leadership, even the likes of Trump and this fucking ridiculous administration, would feel so much pressure that they would have to actually go against even their own personal interest in protecting Israel. Unless they're just so gung-ho and so bold and so ready to go off a cliff, kamikaze-like, for Israel. I mean, I don't even know. So I'm going to go on here. We're going to listen through here the questions and his responses, which I think are pretty well. But although there was one part that I do want to kind of not push back on necessarily, but clarity that good luck, because I mean that's what we're honestly sitting here in is how, can we actually come across some luck to have this actually go somewhere? I mean, so let's go.
We will keep you informed of exactly what is going on inside, what the Security Council will do, and what other steps that we will take, and we will do whatever it takes in order, to put an end to this tragedy of the Palestinian people.
How sure are you that the Security Council will do something, because from our experience throughout the years, any decisions that does not benefit Israel and protect it, it collides with the veto power inside the council, and we are no better off today than we have been like 20 years ago. What are the steps can be taken? And I know the answer more or less to this. What can we do to avoid this trap of the Security Council and the veto power?
Excellent question. And he's right. Anytime anything has come up about Israel in any kind of form around this issue, and when he talks about veto power, that's because of the veto power of the United States. There are only a few in the council that actually have veto power. And all it needs is one veto to end any resolution. One veto. That is something that I have argued is absolutely ridiculous. Only one nation out of like 5 that that has veto power can veto, and it completely just, oh, sorry, I guess we can't do it. This one nation over here. And this has been used over and over and over again, whether or not it's the United States doing it, it's been done by Russia, it's been done by China. It's been, whenever resolution does not fit the broader needs or plans for any of these major countries that have that veto power, just because one of them, only one of them, again, has to be like, nah, we don't agree. And the others, and everybody else, all the rest of the council that has veto, all the rest of the council that doesn't have veto power, all the rest of the whole fucking UN General Council, one fucking nation can say no to the entirety of the fucking UN in any resolution, and it's over. It's done. Bring it up again later at some point. Maybe they won't veto. Absolutely pathetic. That should never be the case. Absolutely never be the case. I mean, I would say a minimum of 2, but more or less it should be like a majority of the council, 3, that have to veto before any resolution does not go through. Because 2 isn't even a majority. And if that were to be the case, there would be a whole lot more actually come out of the UN. They would have way more influence. So, but here's his answer.
Well, thank you, Brother Talar, for asking this question. We will not allow the Security Council to run away from its responsibility. They have a mandate given to them by the Charter of the UN to maintain international peace and security. And what is happening in our region, what is happening in Palestine is a threat to international peace and security, and they have to elevate themselves to the level of addressing this issue. That's number one. Number two, they adopted Resolution 2803, which it said, among other things, that no to annexation, no to occupation, and also the whole process that should lead for self-determination and statehood for the Palestinian people. They all agreed, and it was introduced initially by the United States of America.
Exactly.
And nobody voted against it in the Security Council. We want the Security Council to honor and respect its resolutions, all of them, including this one, including 23, 2334, and many other resolutions. So we will keep knocking on their door. In addition to that, the fact that we are talking to you and through you to the whole world of the position of the Arab countries, the OIC countries, and others who are with us from other groups is an indication that the position of the international community is crystal clear and is in line with international law and in line with the principles enshrined in the Charter of the UN. So it is your duty to help us, and through your outfits, tell the whole world that we are for peace, we are for justice, we are for putting an end to the war, we are for resolving these issues through peaceful method as the Charter tells us. And I believe the great majority of nations and people, they don't want wars, they want to see peace, and they want to see the end of the tragedy of the Palestinian people. We cannot be left behind. This illegal occupation has to end. We need to enjoy freedom and dignity in our homeland. They want to kick us away from our land. Look at our people in Gaza. They endured that no person can endure, but yet they are refusing to leave the homeland. We have no homeland except Palestine, including the precious part of it, which is Gaza, including the jewel on top of the crown, which is Jerusalem and the Holy Land and the holy sites in Jerusalem. And we are grateful for the 8 ministers, the Arabs and the Muslims, who issued a statement against the desecration of Al-Aqsa Mosque and Al-Haram al-Sharif and all of the things that extremists like Smotrich and Ben Gvir are doing in order to usurp such important holy sites from us, and the custodianship of Jordan in this regard. So we appreciate all these things, but we need to keep telling our story. And there is a shift of public opinion in here and in Europe, but we need that shift, including in the UN, to be translated into action, to stop the crimes, to stop the annexation, to stop the occupation, to stop violating our rights, to withdraw from Gaza, to withdraw from the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and to allow for the two-state solution to become a reality. We are not going to go away from that path, and we are grateful for everyone who is with us, and it is almost everyone. That is the obvious reality. Let us see it being implemented.
That is a very, very polite way of saying, stop the bullshit. You have a resolution in front of you. You have already voted on this. And yet you have declined to actually hold it to action and allowing Israel to continue to do what they're doing. Continued humanitarian crisis. The continuation of the annexations, the occupations, and trying to ethnically cleanse an entirety of a people. I mean, he's doing the nicest way to be like, we are adults here. We're supposed to represent the entire world in trying to maintain peace and understanding. And you as a Security Council are the top of that in trying to actually put forth agreements to do just that. And you all agreed on this. And yet and to hold accountable countries who do not agree to it or do not actually follow that agreement, which Israel is not doing and never has. They are the one nation that has always completely went against any resolution to hold them back or to keep them from doing that. They have always made the argument, we must do this in our defense. When the rest of the world is going, but your defense, well, it looks like ethnic cleansing. Your defense looks like genocide, looks like apartheid. Your defense looks like you're trying to kill an entire civilization. Your defense does not really look like defense, especially when your so-called defense is you being a Goliath against a little kid, basically. Yeah, the victimhood in whining of Israel as if they are in such threat of everybody around them. Oh my God. It is absolutely despicable. It is so childish and just pathetic at this point. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? You're a victim? Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. One more question was brought up to him.
Ambassador, what has been the United States reaction to this new initiative?
We just keep repeating what President Trump said. No annexation. We know that he told Netanyahu, including recently, stop the nonsense in Lebanon, stop the craziness, you are not allowed to annex the land. I know that President Trump is capable and he has the tools to stop Netanyahu in his tracks in order not to keep the whole region in turmoil and wars and occupation and to move in the direction of peace and justice. That is why the majority of us are working with them, and the majority of us, including the 8 Arab and Muslim states, supported also by Palestine, and the Security Council, through not rejecting Security Council Resolution 2803, we are all doing our duty. We need others, including the U.S. administration, to stop Israel from continuing to do the things that it is doing to all of us. What we want is peace, and what we want is the essence of what was proposed to us and we accepted. And one day, that is going to happen. We are not going to be the exception to the rule. If it happened in South Africa to put an end to apartheid, it is going to happen in Palestine to put an end to apartheid, to occupation, to discrimination, and for the Palestinian people to have their own freedom and dignity, and the two-state solution to become a reality. I think
that's the problem. That is ultimately the problem. Is while he is correct, Donald Trump does have the power to do all of that. The question is, does he have the will to do it? Does he have a reason to do it? And while, yes, he may have told Netanyahu, yeah, you need to back off of Lebanon. You can't quite do the annexation in Lebanon. Parentheses, right now. Hold up. Because it's not like Trump is against annexation. He's quite literally been paid off to allow Israel to do just that. He was paid off in the first administration to allow them to annex Syria. And he's been paid off already for this administration to allow for the annexation of the West Bank. The Adelsons have made perfectly clear and sure of that with their hundreds of millions of dollars that they just, here, sir, do our bidding. You'll know what to do, or we'll release those Epstein files. I'm like, there is this sense of professionalism here with him in stating that, yes, he has this power. He should do this. Like the expectation of Trump as an actual legitimate, non-controversial, reasonable leader would uphold what we have previously initiated and agreed to because it's the right thing to do. He's holding him to that kind of standard. Probably in hopes that that type of standard and pressure of standard might get Trump to, I don't know, somewhat try to meet it. But again, therein lies the problem. Because Trump has no standards. He has no standards outside of what benefits him. And if it doesn't benefit him, he doesn't care. And he'll do whatever he needs to do to get something that does benefit him, and he'll protect and defend, pardon anybody to help move and get anything that, works for him and benefits him. But to hold him to, the standard of what you would expect or should expect from leadership, that's like a shot in the dark. That's like, it's never going to happen. So what, I don't know if anything would actually come to this. Outside of if nothing actually happens and comes from this, it would just be more evidence that the Security Council of the UN is basically pointless. This whole facade of, some sort of world leadership that is, binded and united in, actually bringing and upholding peace throughout civilization, and we will do everything to do so outside of our own personal interests. Well, it's just a facade. It's fake. Which at this point is the more likely thing that's going to happen. But that doesn't mean, even though that's very well probably going to be the case, that doesn't mean that you just throw your hands up and like, well, fuck, nothing's going to happen, so I guess we should just fuck, whatever, just not do anything. What's the point? Which is the sentiment of a lot of people, unfortunately. This sort of just nihilist point of view that just, it's not like anything's going to happen. I mean, it's nothing. We can't do anything about it, so just fuck it, whatever. It's just pretend. It's just look the other way, act like it's not happening, because there's nothing we can do. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Even someone like me, or even someone like you that might not agree with this, as long as we speak up, we can be a little voice in a collection of a whole bunch of little voices that can also connect and bind to even broader and bigger voices that can ultimately create this whole unity of voices that can get louder and louder and louder and louder. To the point that hopefully we can ultimately be louder than those who are bringing hate and chaos to this world. And ultimately end this type of actions, this type of behavior. Because we are not going to progress as a civilization, as a global civilization. We're not ever going to progress to like unified greatness and accomplishing like all the things that we could genuinely accomplish as a civilization until we are truly united and peaceful and working together. And when you have chaotic, hateful people in charge or in leadership or emboldened enough that they think they can have some sort of control, it's never going to happen. So it needs to be, need to nip it in the bud, as they say. It needs to be ended. Let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me. Check out the channels, check out the merch, and until next time, peace, clear talk. I'm out.